All right, today we'll be going over the Tailfin bag setup that I put on my Kona Sutra. Just sitting here in the garage, just having a conversation about my initial thoughts and what I've been experiencing, both the pros and the cons. Let's get into it. Welcome back, and if you're new to the channel, my name is Dave and this is Dave's Epic Adventure. Right now I'm preparing for a Southern Tier tour starting in late April, going to late June. Today we'll be discussing, like I said, the Tailfin setup. And before we get into that and get into the website, I just want to give you just a little disclaimer. I'm new to bike packing. I'm new to the long haul kind of bike activity and touring. And what I've been doing is the same thing probably you have, is going out on YouTube, reading blogs, and looking for reviews and activities that really give me insight of what to buy and what to do. And many things said, go out and buy just a standard set of Orlid bags, put them on the existing racks and just pack them up and go. And I really was just looking for a different option. And when I did that, the Tailfins came right to the top as one of a great option, not only for this bike ride, but for my future bike rides, which I plan on doing more mountain bike and true bike packing on dirt. And so this can be removed off this bike and put on any other bike. I'm sure this Kona Sutra is great for doing some of that. And I'll be looking at using this or even potentially buying a new bike. But just know that I'm a novice. I'm learning as I'm going, and I'm just trying to give you my insight as I learn. So take it for what it's worth, but I hope you like this review. So let's go over to the website and I'll show you exactly what I bought for each one of these products, and then we'll come back here and walk through the actual setup.
All right, so we're here at the website of Tailfin. That's at tailfin.cc. And what I want to do is just walk you through my build as I did it on the website and show you where some of the accessories lie, because they are a little buried and you may not see them at your first glance. And so let's walk you through. I built some tabs here at the top to walk you through each one of the pieces that I made decisions on. And the first one of those is the actual rack itself. I went ahead with a dedicated rack in a separate bag. And so when you click on that, this is this alloy rack. And you can see it's all about just the rack itself. The other option is what's called the Aero Pack. And I can go ahead and click on that alloy one right here. And you'll see that the Aero Pack is actually an integrated rack bag combination. So that for me, the drawback on this option was that if I wanted to remove the bag, even with a quick connection at the bottom, the rack bag combination is a single unit. And so if I wanted to bring it on my tent, or if I needed to take it apart to do any adjustments on my bike, I had to take the bag and rack off as a single unit. So I just couldn't use the bag by itself. So for me, that was not what I was looking for. I really wouldn't have the capability of leaving the rack intact onto the bike and then removing the bag as I felt it was necessary. Now, both of these, whether you build the Aero Pack or just the rack by itself, come in carbon, but I went with the alloy rack. When you first pick this option, you can go with or without panniers, and I went with panniers, and so there's the connection there. The top stay length is this option right here. It's the amount of space between your seat post and the beginning of the bag. And short is standard, and I actually went with the long. And looking at different reviews of people doing that, it just seemed like it was the best option for me. Then when you add the trunk bag on, you can kind of see how this sits, but this didn't really adjust the picture for the long stay, but you can see how it just gives you a few more inches when you push that back, and I'll show you that on my bike setup. Next is going to be the panniers. You don't have to buy these at the beginning. It just gives you the option if you want to buy it as a package. It comes in 22 liters, both the super light or the ultra durable. I went with the ultra durable, but you can get the mini panniers both in the 5 and or 10. They will fit in the back of this just fine. So if we switch that, I did get the 10 liters, and that's what that would look like. And so a lot of good flexibility and options of what you would like to pick. So let me move this back to the 22 liters. And then the final piece that you'll decide on is on the mounting options. And so that is this connection down here at the bottom. And you really have two major options. One is a fast release, which allows just a clip to come off, and then you can pull it right off, or a frame mount, which is more the traditional screw into the frame connection. Now, I thought with two screws on one on either side, it just takes a few minutes to release that. Then you can release the post connection, and you can have that frame off in less than 5 minutes. And so that was good enough for me, and it gave me that solid connection. But if you desire to have the fast release, they have an axle version or a frame mount, which has some pins. And I think this is really more important when I did my research is if you were to go with the aero bag since it was a single unit. But with them being separate, it just seemed to make sense to go with that frame mount. And so ultimately, this is what I have for the back with the bag on the top, panniers on the sides with my individual rack. Now I want to hone in on this bag because there's a few options on this bag that you can do that provide you some flexibility depending on how your setup is. And so if you go to the trunk bag, here's just another view of that, looking at the trunk bag portion of the website. When you scroll down, you can kind of get some insights on how it looks, how it's connected. So in the front, you can see it's kind of a wedge shape that gets it connected to the front. And then you have these side pins that keeps it connected. It's a very sturdy connection. You can see them connect that, and I'll show you that as I go through my bike. But what I wanted to point out here is this accessory option in the back. So this cord here is for connecting the back section of your bag to keep it watertight, but then you have two screws here to put on any accessory you want. And so if I just go to another tab, go to all products, and go to accessories and click on this accessories, I can show you some of those options. But for that back section here on the trunk bag for these two screws, what you have is a couple options. So one is a light mount, that is more circular in nature. You have another one that's more of like a flat connection. And then you have this what's called the AP mount. And this is actually the one I went with. You know, these got some pictures to show you how it's connected. And then I can show you again in my setup. But what's occurring here is it creates another connection point where you have three screw adapters. So anything like a water bottle or a cage, or in the case of what Tailfin provides, they actually have some small accessory racks that you can bolt into there. And so that's the small uh, cage version. This is what it looks like with a water bottle cage. And so it really gives you a lot of flexibility there. And so this is the connection to the frame, and this is the additional accessory. So I thought this was great, but it is a little buried in the website and where you can find it. So as we go through the other bags, we have either a 5 or 10 liter mini pannier, and then you have the super light and the ultra durable. Like I said, I went with the ultra durable. It is about 120 more grams, and then I went with the 10 liter, and that is another 70 grams. Now you'll see on the ultra durable, the way it's connected is through this side drop. So you roll it up as a dry bag would, and then you connect it down. As you go to the 5 and 10 liter pannier, in this mini one, you can see they actually have this one connected in these accessory wraps with a roll top connection and then with two compression straps. You'll see in my setup, I actually have one compression strap and then I have these going up to create that same kind of compression down the sides. I ultimately went with the 10 liter because these really do compress down to be really small. And so I wanted the flexibility if I had some bulkier items that needed the 10 liters. But if you did want to just strap it down, you can get it down to be pretty small. So I thought that was a little bit more flexible for my long-term needs because I plan on using these bags for several adventures over the next several years. So the last piece I bought was just a small cage. You can actually see, this is a separate accessory. So when you buy the AP mount, it's just that one piece of metal. That's this piece of metal with those three screws that are capable of accepting something else. And I went ahead with that cage mount as it shows here. And so when you're here in the panniers or really anywhere on the website, you can just go to all products and go to cargo cages and then go to small. They do come in a couple different options. In this, it's small or large. If you do have a heavier items, you can lock it in with that small lip. I just have two straps. I got the longer straps because I didn't know how I was going to be using them, and I've got a couple different straps here for carrying accessories. But you'll actually see this is actually going to be One of the things that I think has some improvements is when you put this in, there's just some limited space when you put on pannier bags, this cargo mount, and the AP bag. A large water bottle like this one here just simply won't fit with all of those components. And so I'm re-looking at how I'll do my water setup, but I'll probably keep that accessory on there just in case I have a need. I just haven't found out what that would be at this point. So let's move over to the bike. Let's walk you through each one of these components, get them installed, and show you the finished product.
All right, so you saw the specific things we bought on the website. This is what it looks like all put together. I've got the trunk bag up top. I got the alloy rack underneath. I've got a 22-liter ultra durable pannier bag, and then I've got the Mini 10 up in the front. So let's take this apart, walk you through that rack, the connection in each one of the bags. All right, to start with the connection with the seat post, you simply just push this button in, release the tension, and now it'll come off and this will open that up. So a really fast connection to remove and put back on. So to put it back on, you just put it there and lock it back down. All right, on the side, you can see that we've got the pannier mounts. You actually have 3 connections if you want to put a rack here or a water bottle holder. And then this is my connection to my frame. So I use the exact same frame connection that my other rack had. But if you wanted to, this is where you could put your quick release, based upon how you purchased your rack. All right, so the bag comes with just a light assembly. You need to put on the bottom connector and the top connector. This is going to be facing towards the front of the bike, and then opposite side will be the actual connection to the pannier mount. When you connect these, it does come with an adjustable piece here. So if your metal is different than the actual pannier that you're using, you can adjust that by just releasing that screw on the top, changing that out, and Tailfin provides all those different pieces for you. When you put it on your bike, you just lock it down and it'll be a secure connection. All right, to make the connection, I just slide in that piece, make sure we're good, and then lock that down. And now we've got a firm connection. So looking inside the bag, you can see we have one large pocket. This is my 13-inch Mac Air. And so it can hold up to a 17-inch, but that's how that sits. And then in the front, there is one small zipper that's inside this netting. So you have a small pocket here, and then you have a large pocket. Now I'll actually be putting my laptop into a waterproof case, but it will fit really easy inside there, and that gives you all the other room to fit in any of your other gear. All right, so when you're ready to close this up, this is just like any water safe bag. You can just roll the top down to the area that you want. You can see you kind of get some air inside of it. So you can open up the side vent and push out anything to get it compressed down to your liking. When you're ready, just snap on each side. You can adjust these down and just make sure you close out that air vent so no water gets into it, and now you're all set. This actually has 2 towels in it just to show you kind of the size it will be when it has some gear filled into it. All right, this is the trunk bag that will be going onto the back. When you get this bag, all you need to do is install each one of these connection points. And you just need to make sure that that one, which will go into the front, is on top of the actual strap there. And then I have the accessory cage and that AP mount that I showed you out on the website already attached. So let's get this put onto the bike. All right, so we're gonna take this front lip and it's gonna go underneath here to start the connection. So now we're gonna take these 2 spring clips and connect them to this bottom. And so now we've got a secure connection to the bike. It's not gonna move. All right, we've got the trunk bag on the bike. Let's go ahead and open it up. So we have 2 straps on the top. This is for cinching it down, but also for loading additional gear on top. We have one in the front and one in the back. Now on the left side, we have one zipper that actually will go all the way through. So I can reach into the bag and reach out. So this is just a quick way, instead of opening the entire bag, if you need to get something inside the bag, that you can have access to. On the right-hand side, you have a similar zipper, but it is just a small area for holding things. As you can see, it's just a few fingers wide, and it's about 8 inches long. All right, so for the 10-liter bag, You have the same pieces you need to connect. So you've got the bottom connection and then you've got the actual pannier connection. It's gonna lock the exact same way, but you do need to screw these both on and then you'll be all set. On the front, you'll see I've got mine set up with one compression strap and then I've got it folded down just like I do my 22 liters. But as you saw in the picture on the website, you actually can have both of those and then secure it more like a watertight bag. So you've got some options here to really get this small. Inside the bag is just a single cavity. There's no pockets or no other accessories. You simply can just stuff whatever you like in there and then compress it down as you feel is necessary. So now we're gonna do that same connection in the front here. So we're just gonna lock those in, make sure we're pressed down, and then lock that in place. All right, so we've been through the setup of the bags onto the bike, but I do want to talk about a few cons that I've experienced in building this package together. I think there's some great improvements that Tailfins can do, so let's walk through each one of those before we finish off this video. Okay, so for the first one, you'll see I've got my water cage at the back here. This is the small cage. I've got the 22 liter pannier bags, and these pannier bags do have a piece of metal right here. And so when I try to take a normal 32 ounce water bottle and attach this in here, there's really just no way to get that in there because these metal pieces are in the way. And so really, you can use the trunk bag with this option on there, but as soon as you add these 22 liter pannier bags, it becomes obsolete for this size water bottle. So the options are go with a smaller water bottle or find another use, like just using it for a tail light. That is the other option. All right, so I've got my 22 liter panniers. I've got the trunk bag on, and you can see I can easily remove the trunk bag. But if I just wanted to remove the 22 liter pannier bags and I wanted to lift the lever up, you'll see I'm gonna hit in this removable piece here on the trunk bag. And so what I have to do is actually remove the trunk bag off to lift this up. And now I can remove my pannier. If I want to put this back on and try to lower this back down, you'll see I'll hit it again and I can't go past it. So every time I want to remove or add the pannier to the side, I have to remove my trunk bag and then put this back on. So here's the back of the bike with the 10 liter bags with the trunk bag on top. And then I have my small cage with my 32 ounce water bottle. Now, if you look at this side, you can see we have the component for unlocking the trunk bag from the rack. And then down here, you can see the small lever to lift this up. And on this side, you can see it does work. You can open that all the way, and then you can go ahead and take that off. But on this side, we have the same problem where I can't actually get to that lever with a water bottle. So I can get to this lever here, but I just can't get to this lever here. All right, so as we finish up this video, my final thoughts. I know we talked about a few things that I think should be improved as the design, but overall I think this is a great setup and I think it's gonna be great for my Southern Tier tour and my future tours that I'll be doing. From a Tailfin perspective, when I had questions, I emailed them, I used chat on their website. They were impeccable in getting back to me, so they're very good at doing that. Their website is laid out really nice to kind of understand the options and capabilities, but if you have any questions, just reach out to them. When I got the products, I should have done an opening of the box, but I was kind of excited to get this on here and start experiencing what this is like. But the product came in some great packaging. It was boxed up well. It came with all the accessories. Within about 30 minutes of opening that box, even as a first timer, I was able to get this installed onto my bike and ready to go and start trying it out. Now what I'm gonna do is, as I do more training with these bags on, as I go through the Southern Tier route, May and June, you'll see me talk more about the bags and I'll give you updates on the review. But if I had to go out and buy bags, I think this was a great setup. I think, like I said, it's gonna be great for this tour, but the ability to take this and do it within a modular setup and have larger, smaller bags, have the trunk bags, I really have a great set of options for, you know, an overnighter, for a long weekend, and for going for several weeks. So go check them out and see what you think. But I'll give you more updates as I move through my progress in my Southern Tier activity. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you get a chance, please like and subscribe. It does help me out. And have a great day.